Hey guys, it's Brandon from Brandon's Baseball Cards. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to be discussing a potentially controversial topic, but I think it's an important topic and it needs to be addressed. And it's this question: is sports card radio good for the hobby? And it's kind of a broader question that goes beyond sports card radio, but it's something that I've noticed in some of these really popular YouTube channels that exist. A lot of them deal with hobby controversies. They deal with, fraud in the hobby, the prevalence of fraud in the hobby, different topics pertaining to PSA and baseball card exchange and vintage breaks and a variety of different companies. And Sports Card Radio in particular has come out with a lot of content in the last year that has been that is targeted, card influencers on social media and their personal lives and some of their indiscretions in their personal lives. It is targeted Baseball Card Exchange and Steve Hart for the mistake that was made with the Logan Paul Pokemon case that was wrapped that proved to be fraudulent. And more recently, other scandals, including Baseball Card Exchange and their wrapping of an 86 Flair basketball box that people kind of jumped on the bandwagon a little bit ahead of the evidence being revealed, and they thought that this was an example of a fraudulent box. I've done previous videos where I discuss why I don't think that box was fraudulent. But ultimately, you get the point, right? There's been a lot of investigations that have been done by this channel, by Sports Card Radio, and other channels have kind of taken on this model, right, in many respects. I myself have done research and shown published videos that show how to identify fraudulent rack packs and other unopened material, right? And so I do think there's a place for that in the hobby. But this question that I'm really grappling with, is sports card radio good for the hobby? I think channels such as that, while they do important investigatory work, they also create a lot of unnecessary cynicism about the hobby, a lot of unnecessary cynicism. And so I think that it's important to understand that there are people out there that are trying to take advantage. There are grifters, right? This most recent situation where there's a gentleman who has been resealing PSA slabs, right? That Sports Card Radio has done some good work on. Things like this are important to document. They're important to bring to people's awareness. But I also think there's a tendency to jump on a bandwagon and assume the worst in people right off the bat, right? And that's a problem. Or at the very least, to be incredibly cynical right away, rather than approaching the hobby from a more optimistic standpoint. And so, for example, with the most recent baseball card exchange situation with the 86 Fleer box, okay. A lot of people have commented and made videos about this, including Sports Card Radio. And many of these people don't have the faintest idea what they're talking about in regards to unopened material. And they don't understand collation and how collation works. They don't understand that irregularities did happen in the packaging of unopened material. And we see this all over the place. We see crazy things happen with unopened, right? The broader point being, rather than just digging in and attacking somebody unnecessarily and without the expertise to do so, it's important to try to not be unnecessarily skeptical, unnecessarily cynical, assuming someone made a mistake with the authentication of a box, right? Or assuming there was malicious intent with the vintage breaks. There was a pack swapping situation with Vintage Breaks, this big breaking company, that happened. I guess now it's been a few weeks. They swapped a pack out. They had a pack on camera, and then they swapped it out. for a different pack. And it's that was certainly did not look good, right? And it's important to expose these types of things, but it's also important to not create a lot of unnecessary cynicism about the hobby, because for the hobby to continue to grow and to develop, we need optimistic people that enjoy the hobby, that aren't just in it for the drama, that don't just watch channels like Sports Card Radio just to get their daily fix of a hobby drama. That's, I mean, and I'm guilty of it as anybody else. I everybody gets wrapped up in drama. It's human nature, right? It's human nature. But I do think we have to, as content creators, we all should ask ourselves, is our channel good for the hobby? And if so, why, right? And if not, why not, right? And I think for all of the positives that come out of channels such as Sports Card Radio, through the investigative focus of the channel, there have been times where the channel has fostered a lot of unnecessary negativity about the hobby, and that's just my 2 cents. I'd love to hear your feedback, respectful feedback, feedback on the substance of what I've said. I'm not really in the habit of responding to trolls or those types of things. And sometimes when you do a video like this, you tend to get feedback like that. So if you have comments on the substance of what I've just said, I welcome it. We can have a nice discussion. I hope you're all doing well, and have a great weekend. Keep collecting vintage and open baseball. Take care of each other, everybody.